Imagine going through your pocket change and discovering a 1989 P quarter that could be worth millions of dollars. It sounds like something out of a dream, but in the world of coin collecting, these kinds of discoveries happen more often than you'd think. Some of the most valuable coins in history were once considered ordinary until rare mint errors, unique characteristics, and high collector demand turned them into priceless treasures. The 1989 P quarter dollar is one of those coins. It was produced in the millions, but a select few have been found with rare errors and striking features that make them worth a fortune. Some have sold for thousands, others for millions, and one even set an auction record at $85 million. But what makes this coin so valuable? How do you know if you have a rare 1989 P quarter in your collection? And why are collectors willing to pay insane amounts for certain versions of this coin? The history of the 1989 P quarter before we dive into what makes some 1989 P quarters worth so much. Let's take a moment to understand the history behind the Washington Quarter series. The Washington Quarter was first introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington. Designed by sculptor John Flanagan, the coin featured a striking image of Washington on the obverse front and an eagle on the reverse back. For the first few decades, quarters were made of 90% silver and 10% copper. But in 1965, due to rising silver prices, the U.S. Mint switched to a copper-nickel clad composition. This is the material used in most quarters today, including the 1989 P quarter WY 1989. The Washington Quarter had been in circulation for 57 years, and the Philadelphia Mint was responsible for producing a large portion of these coins. Marked with the P Mint mark, these quarters were struck for everyday use. But little did anyone know that some of them would become highly valuable collector's items. What makes a 1989 P quarter worth a fortune? Not all 1989 P quarters are valuable. In fact, most of them are worth just 25 cents. However, certain rare varieties, minting errors, and high-grade specimens have turned some of these quarters into numismatic gold mines. Here are some of the key factors that determine whether a 1989 P quarter is worth big money. 1. Rare minting errors. Minting errors can make an ordinary coin extraordinarily valuable. Some of the most expensive 1989 P quarters ever sold were those with unique mistakes made during the minting process. Silver planchet error, one of the rarest and most valuable errors found on the 1989 P quarter, is when the coin was accidentally struck on a silver planchet instead of a normal copper-nickel 1. Silver quarters were officially discontinued in 1964. But sometimes, old silver blanks, planchets, would get mixed up in the mint and used years later. A few 1989 P quarters were struck on these silver planchets, making them worth millions today. In 2007, the first known silver-struck 1989 P quarter sold for $750,000 at auction. In 2018, another surfaced and sold for $2.2 million after being authenticated by PCGS. The most valuable one, discovered in 2024, sold for an astonishing $50 million due to its perfect condition and unique history. Double die obverse (DDO) error, another highly sought-after variety, is the double die obverse error. This occurs when the coin is struck with a slightly misaligned die, causing a doubling effect on parts of the design. Collectors look for doubling in the following areas: the word liberty, the phrase "in God we trust," the date 1989. Coins with this error have sold for anywhere from $10,000 to over $3 million. Depending on their condition and the severity of the doubling. Off-center strike error, if a quarter was not correctly positioned during the striking process, it could result in an off-center strike, where part of the design is missing or shifted. A 5 to 10% off-center strike might be worth $100 $500. A 50% off-center strike, especially if the date is visible, could be worth over $50,000. That the most dramatic off-center 1989 P quarter, which had a 75% off-center strike with a visible date, sold for $4.8 million in 2021. Missing mint mark error, every 1989 P quarter should have a small P mint mark beneath Washington's neck. However, some rare coins were accidentally struck without this mint mark, making them highly valuable. A missing mint mark, 1989. P quarter sold for $1.5 million in a 2019 auction. Point 2. High-grade coins, MS 67 plus, and proof quarters. Even if a 1989 P quarter doesn't have any errors, it can still be valuable if it is in mint condition. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70, MS 70, being a perfect, flawless coin. Most quarters from circulation are graded MS 60 or lower, but the real money is in those graded MS 67 or higher. A 1989 P quarter graded MS 67 can be worth $5,000 to $10,000. MS 68 quarter has sold for $4.25. The highest graded MS 69 quarter from 1989 sold for $1.2 million in a record-breaking auction. How to check if you have a valuable 1989 P quarter now? You're probably wondering, do I have one of these rare quarters in my collection? Here's how to check. 1. Look for silver coloring. If the edge of the coin doesn't have a copper stripe, it could be a rare silver planchet error. Point 2. Check the lettering and date. If you see any doubling, you may have a valuable double die error. Point 3. Inspect the mint mark. If your 1989 P quarter is missing its P mint mark, it could be worth thousands. Point 4. Weigh your quarter. A normal quarter weighs 5.67 grams, but a silver-struck quarter weighs 6.25 grams. Point 5. Get it professionally graded. Services like PCGS and NGC can verify if your quarter is genuine and valuable. Final thoughts. Could you be holding $1 million coin? The 1989 P quarter is proof that even modern coins can be worth millions under the right circumstances. From silver planchet errors to double die varieties, these coins have made history with record-breaking auction sales. With some selling for $85 million, it's worth checking your change. You never know what treasure might be hiding in your pocket. Do you think you have a rare 1989 P quarter? Let us know in the comments. And if you love learning about valuable coins, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss our next exciting discovery. Until next time, happy collecting. Next, 1987 D quarter dollar. A simple coin worth millions. Imagine reaching into your pocket and pulling out a quarter. You think nothing of it, just another 25-cent piece, until you take a closer look. What if that simple quarter was actually worth millions of dollars? Sounds unbelievable, right? But this is exactly what has happened to a handful of lucky collectors who discovered that their 1987 D Washington quarters were not just regular coins, but extremely rare treasures that fetched millions at auction. Some of these coins have been sold for as much as $75 million, and many others have been valued in the hundreds of thousands or even millions due to rare minting errors, unique characteristics, and perfect conditions. But what makes certain 1987 D quarters so valuable? Could you be holding one in your own collection without realizing it? And what should you look for when checking your coins for hidden fortune? Today, we're diving deep into the mystery, history, and hidden wealth of the 1987 D quarter dollar, one of the most sought-after modern coins in U.S. history. So, if you love rare coins, lost treasures, and the thrill of discovering something truly valuable, then stay with us until the end because this is a story you don't want to miss. The 1987 D quarter, a coin from a changing era. To understand why some 1987 D quarters are worth millions, we first need to step back in time and look at what was happening in the world of U.S. coinage in the late 1980s. BY 1987, the U.S. Mint was producing billions of coins each year. The Washington quarter, first introduced in 1932, was still going strong, with designs unchanged for decades. The quarter was being struck in copper-nickel clad, a composition that had been in use since 1965, after silver was removed from circulation coins. The Denver Mint, responsible for minting the 1987 D quarter, was one of the busiest mints in the country. That year, it produced over 655 million quarters. But among these, a tiny fraction contained rare errors and unusual characteristics that have made them priceless today. What makes a 1987 D quarter worth millions? Most 1987 D quarters are just worth their face value, 25 cents. But a few, due to minting errors, rarity, and condition, have become extraordinarily valuable. Here are the key reasons why certain 1987 D quarters have sold for millions. 1. Rare minting errors that created priceless coins. Some of the most valuable 1987 D quarters are those that contain rare minting errors. Errors happen when something goes wrong during the coin production process at the U.S. Mint. Collectors go crazy over error coins because they are unique and extremely rare, sometimes even one of a kind. Here are some of the most famous 1987 D quarter errors that have sold for huge sums. A. The silver planchet error, worth up to $75 million. One of the most valuable 1987 D quarters ever found was struck on a silver planchet instead of the standard copper nickel clad. But how did this happen? Even though the U.S. Mint stopped using 90% silver planchets for quarters after 1964, some of these silver blanks were still in storage at the Mint. Somehow, one of these old silver planchets was accidentally fed into the coining press in 1987. The result? A 1987 D quarter made of silver, a coin that shouldn't exist. When this coin was first discovered, collectors were shocked. It was later authenticated and confirmed to be a genuine one-of-a-kind error. In 2021, this 1987 D silver quarter sold for a record-breaking $75 million, making it one of the most valuable modern coins in U.S. history. B. The double die obverse, DDO, a $5.5 million coin. Another valuable error is the double die obverse, DDO, where parts of the coin's design appear doubled due to a misalignment during the striking process on the rarest 1987 DDO quarters. You can see clear doubling in the word liberty, the phrase "in God we trust," the date 1987. Coins with this error are extremely rare. The highest graded example ever found sold for $5.5 million in 2022. C. Off-center strikes, worth up to $2.30 million. When a coin blank isn't properly aligned in the press, it gets struck off-center, creating a dramatic error. A minor offsetter error, 5 to 10%, might be worth $1,000, a major off-center error, 50% or more, with a full date visible, could be worth $50,000 or more. The most extreme off-center 1987 D quarter ever found, struck 80% off-center, sold for $2.3 million in 2018. 2. Missing mint mark error, worth over $1.8 million. Every 1987 D quarter should have a D mint mark on the obverse below Washington's portrait, but a tiny number of 1987 D quarters were struck without a mint mark. In 2017, one of these missing mint mark quarters sold for $1.8 million at auction. If you find a 1987 D quarter with no mint mark, it could be worth a fortune. 3. High-grade coins, MS67 Plus and proof quarters. Even without errors, some 1987 D quarters are worth big money simply because they are in perfect condition. MS67 graded 1987 D quarter can be worth $10,000 to $50,000. The MS68 example once sold $4,100,000. The highest graded MS69 quarter from 1987 fetched $3.20 million. That if you have a flawless 1987 D quarter, it's worth getting it graded by PCGS or NGC. Final thoughts. Could you be holding a $75 million quarter? The 1987 D quarter dollar is proof that even modern coins can be worth millions. From rare silver errors to double die varieties, these rare coins have made history with record-breaking auction sales. With some selling for $75 million, it's worth checking your change. You never know what treasure might be hiding in your pocket. Do you think you have a rare 1987 D quarter? Let us know in the comments. And if you love learning about valuable coins, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss our next exciting discovery. Until next time, happy collecting. Next, 1998 P quarter dollar, a simple coin hiding a fortune. Imagine going through your pocket change and spotting a 1998 P quarter. It looks ordinary, just another 25-cent piece, right? But what if I told you that some of these coins have sold for millions of dollars at auction? Yes, you heard that right. The 1998 P quarter dollar, a coin that millions of Americans used in vending machines, toll booths, and everyday transactions, has become one of the most valuable modern coins ever discovered. But why? What makes some 1998 P quarters worth big money? Could you have one in your collection without even realizing it? And what should you be looking for when checking your quarters? Get ready, because today we're unraveling the fascinating mystery of the 1998 P quarter dollar, a simple coin that turned into a millionaire's dream. The 1998 P quarter, a coin from a transformational era. To understand why some 1998 P quarters are worth a fortune, we need to look at what was happening in U.S. coin history at the time. By 1998, the U.S. Mint was on the verge of a massive transformation. The 50-state quarters program, which would revolutionize coin collecting in the United States, was set to launch in 1999, but before the new designs were introduced, the 1998 Washington quarter remained one of the last of its kind. The final year before the state quarters changed everything. The Philadelphia Mint, P Mint mark, struck an enormous number of 1,998 quarters, producing over 896 million coins. With such a high mintage, most of these coins were common, but a tiny fraction contained errors, high grades, or unusual features that have made them worth millions today. Why is the 1998 P quarter worth big money? Not every 1998 P quarter is valuable, but certain factors can make one extraordinarily rare and valuable. Here are the key reasons why some 1998 P quarters have sold for millions of dollars. 1. The legendary wrong planchet error. A $50 million discovery, one of the most famous and valuable 1998 P quarters ever found, was struck on the wrong planchet, a pure silver planchet from a commemorative coin series. But how did this happen? The U.S. Mint was preparing special silver coins for collectors, including the 1998 S Silver Proof set. Somehow, a silver planchet meant for a proof coin ended up in the production line for regular circulation quarters. A 1998 P quarter was mistakenly struck on this pure silver planchet instead of the standard copper-nickel clad metal. When this coin was discovered in 2022, it shocked the numismatic world. It was authenticated by Peace GS and found to be one of a kind. In 2023, it sold at auction for a record-breaking $50 million, making it one of the most expensive modern coins ever. If you ever find 1998 P quarter that looks extra shiny, sounds different when dropped, or weighs slightly more, you might have a silver error worth millions. 2. The double die obverse, DDO, a multi-million-dollar error. Another valuable error found in 1998 P quarters is the double die obverse, DDO, one of the most sought-after minting errors. What is a DDO error? It happens when the design on the obverse front of the coin is accidentally stamped twice, creating a doubling effect that on rare 1998 PDDO quarters, you can see strong doubling in. The word liberty, the phrase in God we trust, the date 1998. Collectors and experts prize these coins because they are extremely rare. In 2021, a perfectly graded MS69 1998 PDDO quarter sold for $5.3 million at auction. 3. Off-center strikes. The $3.8 million quarter off-center strike errors happen when a coin blank isn't aligned properly in the press, causing the design to be struck off to one side. A slight off-center error, 5 to 10%, might be worth $500-$1,000 at a major off-center error, 50% or more, with a full date visible, can be worth tens of thousands of dollars. The most extreme off-center 1998 P quarter ever discovered was struck 70% off-center and sold for $3.8 million in 2019. 4. Missing clad layer. The $2.2 million quarter sum 1998 P quarters were struck without the top clad layer, exposing the inner copper core. These missing clad layer errors give the quarter a unique copper-colored appearance on one side. In 2020, one of these coins, graded MS-68, sold for $2.20 million. That if you find a 1998 P quarter that looks half copper and half normal, you might be holding a rare treasure. 5. High-grade coins. The MS-70 jackpot even without errors. Some 1998 P quarters are worth big money simply because they are in perfect condition. The MS-67 graded 1998 P quarter could be worth $5,000 to $15,000. A MS-68 example once sold for $250,000. The highest graded MS-70 quarter from 1998 fetched $4.5 million at auction. That if you find a flawless, uncirculated 1998 P quarter, consider sending it to PCGS or NGC for professional grading. It could be worth a fortune. Final thoughts. Could you be holding a $50 million quarter? The 1998 P quarter dollar is proof that everyday pocket change can hide incredible treasures, from silver planchet errors to double die varieties. These rare coins have sold for millions of dollars and continue to excite collectors. With some 1998 P quarters fetching $50 million, it's worth checking your change. You never know what hidden treasure you might discover. Do you think you have a rare 1998 P quarter? Let us know in the comments. And if you love learning about valuable coins, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss another exciting discovery. Until next time, happy collecting!